I did two things on that trip to Geelong that I'm lucky she didn't kill me for. I swear to God, neither on purpose precisely, but there's a level where she shares responsibility. But no, I will accept it flat out. Don't ask her. I fucked up badly. Yeah. Wow. So the thing is that you have to. Okay, so you get in the boat. You want to go out to the Gilligan's Island, and I got to deal with this creepy, seedy, tough Indonesian guy, and just the whole trip, right? It's just the whole place. Everything about it is incredible. Bloody hot. The ocean is exquisite, and I get on the boat. Okay, so the first thing that happens to me when I get on the boat that I can recall is that I run into this big, really pissed out of his head guy from London, and he's missing an arm. So the boat ride is, there was one trip that we made. It was pretty wild. It really was pretty wild. So I'm talking about the same island where I met the two Indonesian guys whose father was transsexual. This is the same island. The same island. That is the most significant island of my life. I don't remember what it's called. It's one of the Gilis. And it's not off the south coast. It's off the north coast. So, yeah, I meet this guy. He's like 6'3", and he's missing an arm, and he's drunk off his face. And so I'm thinking, I gotta, try to help this guy. And so we get there, and he wants to stay like right in the middle of all the nonsense, because there's a little nonsense area there. He's just gonna check in there. And I'm going like, look, dude, you don't want to do this. It's no sweat at all. Because I had to find a hotel too. And so he's only got one arm. So I don't know. I doubt I took him by his one hand. But, it was really bad, right? And so I get him his place. I got my place. Like no air conditioning or anything like that, right? And so this is going on, and he says to me something like, so, we're not like buddies or anything, you can't follow me around. And I'm going, what? You drunk ass, whatever you are, I just saved you from checking in at a place that's really seedy, and so just try talking to a drunk. It's absolutely ridiculous. And so, okay, so there's the next morning, and we had breakfast together. And we're sitting there talking, and naturally it's a little bit awkward because he's missing an arm, right? And so he gets talking to me, and actually he's like I think probably a really super good film director, filmmaker in some form, for sure. And right at that time, I was starting to make these stupid videos of my old high eight, and that was so much fun. So I was talking to him about this stuff, kind of deliberately, just asking him really stupid questions to bug him. I don't know, and probably just stupid questions. And so I realized, okay, so this guy's actually really super sophisticated, intelligent guy, filmmaker. And apparently his son was like way more successful in terms of money than he was. And actually, I think about that old guy, and he's talking quite a bit. He's not really interested in like living in England and growing old and, falling apart and putting up with all that old age shit. So he was just going to like, turn out the switch at some point. He was definitely thinking about it. He was talking about it. don't know whether he would have done it on this occasion. I hope so. So I get around, and the thing about this is I don't believe this story. I think he made this up, and there's a good reason. I can tell you why this didn't happen. So you get around to how'd you lose your arm, and he would have to tell this story like 1,000 times. So I think he probably just like made it up every time that he told it, right? So what he tells me is that he went diving with his son and got his arm stuck in something, like scuba diving, and his son had to cut his arm off. And so I don't believe it, because what happened later, I don't know, the sand and all that was all really bad, and there's no visibility, and we're out there. And he's going, oh, this is great, this is fantastic. And no, dude, like the visibility was like about 10 feet. Honestly, like 10 feet. This was seriously bad. I don't believe you ever got a scuba diving license. So I wonder what actually happened to that guy. I'm curious. I seriously don't care. I mean, and so, he's telling me about what London was like, with all the sort of drug abuse, and you can imagine living in London as a film director, producer, whatever it was he was. And like, okay, well, actually, there's probably a good chance that the two kids that had a transgender father were on the same boat. So this is all happening at the same time. And when the wife came, we hired a cart with the donkey. And the donkey was like, every time he stepped with his left foot or something, he like farted explosively. So it was like, and if you're sitting in the cart, that means the thing is farting right in your face, right? But there's the guy that's sitting driving the horse, and then so it's not like, but it's pretty bad. Right? It's really weird to see a fart come out of a horse, right? And it's just, and so he's really a bit embarrassed about that, and he turns around and he says, "Too windy." And so it becomes like a kind of a joke. I don't know if either of us really remember, but there's like the too windy thing. For a long time, we thought that was hilarious. Yeah, and there was a pretty bad disruption in the tourist industry at that time. So a lot of places were really, like, probably practically starving, I think. Yeah, there's two more Indonesian stories I ain't telling.